The truth of mermaids and folklore. Oh no, do you hear that? Quickly, cover your ears before you're under the spell of the mermaid, please. Oh gosh, I hope this passes soon. Oh, please tell me it's over. Please tell me it's over. Whew, it's over. Wait, why are you looking at me like that? Do you not know what a mermaid is? Oh, you don't? Well, let me tell you the tale of the mermaids and to help you better understand what a mermaid is and how it ties into folklore. Now, you must think I'm crazy, but there is much to know about mermaids. To give you some context, mermaids are seen as beautiful creatures of the sea. They appear to be half human, half fish, folkloric mythical creatures, told in stories many of us have heard as children. Now, many people believe to think mermaids are just females, but that is false. There are mermen too. We mainly hear about the female mermaid due to its beautiful nature and luring abilities, but the merman can do the same things. Well, now that you see what they look like, does the story of the Little Mermaid ring a bell? Well, what if I told you the story was twisted into a children's fairy tale from a story created back in 1836? This story was actually not meant for children. The story is written by Hans Christian Andersen and is a story about a very young mermaid who falls in love with a sailor she saves. Similar to Ariel, she trades her voice for legs, but she is put in excruciating pain every time she walks, just so she can try to go live with the man. And she tries to win him over, but fails due to him falling in love with another woman who he thought saved him. She then gets sad because her deal is she has to make him fall in love with her or she will die and turn to sea foam. And that's what happens. She dies and turns into sea foam. Sounds similar to Disney's take, but much darker with no happy ending. This story is what drove the image of mermaids into folkloric literature. But where did he get the idea of the mermaid? Well, let's look into how the idea of the mermaid first became. Mermaids are believed to have started from Greek mythology, and in Greek mythology they were not seen like how we are told. They were seen more as sea nymphs, or better known as sirens, created by the Greek god of the river Oculus. He fathered these siren/river nymphs with his unknown lover and created the image of the mermaid. Now, to tie into fairy tales, I wanted to talk about this famous painting made by John Waterhouse back in 1900. His painting is actually from an older poem made in the 1800s of a mermaid who's contemplating life on land and sea. You can see in the painting, he created the image of the mermaid similar to how we still see mermaids today. Well, remember how I told you in the beginning to hold your ears? Well, mermaids are known for their beautiful, luring voice. Tales from Men at Sea would say that they would hear this magical melody of the mermaid and would be put into a trance, causing themselves to throw themselves overboard and swim to the voice. And once they made it to the voice, these men would be dragged underwater, never to be seen again. Well, these men only knew one way to stop themselves from succumbing to this voice, and that was to shove earwax or anything in their ears and tie themselves to the post of the mast of the ship until they passed the voice. Sailor stories were the key of the true start of the mermaid's tales, but how true really is that? Many believe the idea of mermaids were also a lack of knowledge of sea animals in the ocean. For example, one animal who's known for being mistaken as a mermaid were manatees. In the early years, people would write letters describing how animals looked of pictures, because pictures and paintings either didn't exist or were too hard to create at the time. So sailors would only see glimpses of these manatees and describe them incorrectly, creating a weird image of what was thought a manatee. These descriptions would sound like a mermaid, and they would actually assume they were actually looking at a real mermaid. Another one is dolphins. When swimming at fast speeds behind boats, these fishermen would only see the back ends of these dolphins breaching the water and hear their screeching, magical voice that would sound similar to a mermaid trying to sing her song. They would panic and think it's a mermaid trying to catch them, and they would just try to flee, when it was actually just dolphins chasing the boat trying to have fun. Now, the idea of mermaids seem rather far-fetched to most now that we have better technology, but the idea of mermaids drove people to believe in them in earlier years due to the fact they knew nothing of the ocean. Similar to how we keep finding weird fish, the idea of a mermaid was not far-fetched at all. Now, what do you think when I say sirens and mermaid, right? Because they're the same thing, right? Well, no, they are not the same thing. Sirens come from a deeper part of Greek mythology. They technically play the base work of the image of the mermaid, yet they don't look the same at all. Siren's original form is the top part is a woman, and then the bottom part is a bird-like legs with a tail and wings. It was kind of the base work image of a mermaid, but with how people's curiosity of the ocean started coming, they took and twisted the image of a siren and turned it into a siren-like mermaid. Now sirens are tied to being the evil mermaids, which cause shipwrecks, flooding, and drownings. But with the term siren, many people use it differently in different parts of the world. So I want to talk about how other cultures see mermaids. First, we have mermaids in Chinese culture. They're seen similar to how everyone sees mermaids, but the tales of the mermaids are different from ours. One story claims that Nuga, a goddess with a fishtail, got tired of the land only having beasts, so she used some different colored mud and created people. By creating these people, she also somehow created the Chinese class system, which is weird. In African culture, mermaids are seen as Mami Wata, or Mother Water. They saw these mermaid-like creatures to have long hair and have been with the mirror to represent the way they can go between water and land. They were also known for wealth, lust, and fertility. Lastly, looking to English culture, unlike how African and Chinese culture see mermaids like beings of gods or something good, we see them as caution and bad luck. We see them as creatures who kill men by drowning or sinking their ships, but we do have some superstitions. We believe that ships were to have wooden sculptures of mermaids in the front of the ship, and it would calm the god of the sea to allow sailors smooth sailing. When women were on the boats, they tended to think that they would anger the gods and actually strip them or throw them overboard just to help. But now let's recap on what we have learned about mermaids. Mermaids are powerful, beautiful creatures created 1,000 years ago in Greek mythology. They were mainly seen as women, but they can be men as well. The folklore surrounding the image of the mermaid is greatly influenced by different cultures and how they see them. They can be seen as godlike creatures who grant wishes and blessings of fertility and luck, but they can also be seen as terrifying creatures of the deep sea who will seduce men by them, luring them with a song and drag them deep underwater to never be seen again. Now, the main question remains, do you believe in mermaids? Also, what surprised you the most by watching this presentation about mermaids? Let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching.